When it comes to financial inclusion, not all things are equal. Women are less likely than men to have access to financial institutions or have a bank account. The digital divide also remains a gendered one, with the UN estimating that most of the 3.9 billion people who are offline live in rural areas, are less educated, and tend to be women and girls. Another key issue for financial inclusion, Your Majesty, of course, is women. As the world looks to close the gender gap, what kind of inequity have you witnessed women and girls experiencing in this area?
You know, I've been putting so much emphasis on women financial inclusion. When I started this work, I mean, the gender gaps were enormous. Worldwide, we had 9%. We're off to 4%. So all these efforts have actually paid off. But we still have to continue to look into this. And the affordability is a very big part of it, because women sometimes have less assets and less means. So we really need to give these women much more affordable products. The connectivity issue is a big issue. You know, what a woman can actually do with a smartphone is amazing, but they mostly have less access to smartphones, less access to internet, so use of data. So we need to think in digitization of women as a very important part of their development, not only for financial inclusion, also to get information, health information, also to get sort of, you know, when should I vaccinate my children, you know, issues of, you know, education. This is really very, very important. Even sort of, you know, women farmers, when it's going to rain? When should I actually sow? Where should I actually, you know, should I actually harvest now because the rain is coming? And that she can get on her phone. And let us not forget that sometimes women are less literate. So the fact of actually having a smartphone, that we can actually send a video explaining things to her, not in written form, is also very important.
How can gender equity in financial inclusion, do you think, really transform those lives and communities?
Well, I'm going to tell you a story. I was in Kenya last October, and we went to this woman farmer, and she was just being insured by this microinsurance programs called Pula. And basically, she had been, for the first time, access to a much better seed that would actually increase her yield tremendously. But buying this seed, she also had some insurance. And so what happens, like, you know, of course, too much rain came over. She lost 40% of her harvest. But all of a sudden, she got this payment of 40% of that loss of the harvest. And they did it automatically because they knew that because of too much rain, farmers in all this region actually lost that 40% of harvest. So she said to me, "Madam, I could not only buy again my inputs to start my, you know, next year sort of sowing again, but my kids could go back to school again. I was so afraid that I would not be able to send my girls to pay my school fees." So that's what it's all about.